everybody, here we are working on the KTM again. This video we're going to take an automatic Rekluse clutch out. So this video is about unautomaticing your automatic clutch. That's what we're doing. You might be wondering why. Well, why would somebody want to take an automatic clutch out of their dirt bike? Well, you know, you guys that go over rocks where you have to like over and then stop and wiggle, and I don't do that. And what I'm having trouble with is every time I slam on the brakes, bike dies, and then you can't push start it. So you're, you know, trying to find neutral and kicking and kicking and kicking, and it doesn't work for me. I don't like it. So we're gonna take that out. I was woefully unprepared the first time I tried to do this, because you get on the internet and you look at Rekluse clutch and they just got an element that goes in your stock clutch basket where you leave a few clutch discs out and you put their piece in and centrifugal force makes it work. This is a 20-year-old bike and a 20-year-old automatic clutch, and I don't think you can even buy a clutch like this anymore. So if you bought an old bike and you can't find parts to fix your Rekluse clutch, you want to go back to stock, I guess this video is for you. To get into this, the first thing to do is you know, you want to drain the oil and all that stuff. You go right ahead. I'm just gonna lay this over, and then the oil runs to that side, and we just take it apart and just put our stuff in, and then put the clutch cover back on, and off we go. We don't even have to check the oil. So let's get this thing on its side. We've got this laying on its side now, and the first thing is to get in here with the old 8mm and just zip the clutch cover bolts out. And this is a Austrian bike, but you know, much like a Japanese bike, I don't think there's a single one of these that are the same length. So you guys keep track of yours. I'm just gonna trial and error going back together until I get it right. I guess we could just leave them in the holes like that and lift the clutch cover off, maybe. Probably not. Now, something to keep in mind if you're unautomatic clutching your bike. Yep, and that's why you gotta pull the bolts out. Anyway, something to keep in mind if you're taking an automatic clutch out of your bike. It's part of the kit that come with this included this super thick gasket so that this thing would clear the stock cover. Now this has got a whole bunch of tiny little Torx headed screws, bolts, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Those come out next. And man, them little guys are tiny. Well, about lost one. Anyway, another good reason to lay your bike on its side to do this is because when I get this little plate off of here, are you guys gonna see some ball bearings? Man, there must be 20 of these screws. That's like a diaphragm spring type thing, and then centrifugal force must shoot all these little balls out to engage your clutch. The new ones, I think that's why they come with an adjustable slave cylinder for a KTM. And if you put the new style Rekluse clutch on a not KTM, you end up adjusting the clutch cable just right to make the whole thing work. That over on the tailgate. Well, that'd be our little throw out bearing. We're going to need to reuse that. inner piece. I don't think we need it. Looks like we got Allen wrench stuff now. Need like a holding fixture. You should have. I bought some. Top drawer of the black toolbox.
Just gonna time lapse this with some music, huh?
What? No. You gotta do the struggle is real. Oh, now we're dropping pieces of, I don't know, washers and shims. Oh my goodness, look at all that stuff. Wow, that's scary. I thought maybe I'd sell this to somebody on eBay, but with no instructions and all these little washers in there, I don't think that's going to be happening, because I'd hate to sell somebody something they can't even figure out how to use. If you're working on something like this, watch out to make sure you get all these washers fished out of there, because you sure don't want that going through your gears. Man, there's more of them. I think I got them all now. Now, I bought a used clutch because I didn't know what was going to be required to swap this out. So let's compare the used clutch to what's still in here, because this looks stock. These clutch plates look stock. And the outer basket looks stock. So I'm thinking we just need to use the pressure plate, springs, and bolts that go through there. These clutches are good enough. Give me the clutch. So yeah, that outside basket part looks right. That come with the clutch. So we'll need to reuse these bolts and springs that come with the used clutch.
I wouldn't doubt it came with a different length push rod.
Maybe. Yeah, and this inner piece, this looks like KTM stuff in here too, so we just need the pressure plate, the little throw out bearing that's in here somewhere. This ball goes in the throwout bearing. Don't lose that or you'll regret it. Now, this come with a really thick collar. I'm not sure if that was maybe under the nut, but it's kind of looking like we might be okay without it. This throwout bearing is actually a little thrust bearing with rollers, so you want to make sure it's running against steel on both sides and not your aluminum pressure plate. So put the throwout bearing in there, and this has got a hydraulic clutch. I'm actually able to push on the slave cylinder. It is moving, so we're about to see if this is going to fit right or not. Yep, and it seems like the push rod is too long. So I guess we're going to get to put this all back together and get a push rod too, the stock length.
Yeah, better idea.
I got to looking at the little throwout bearing in here, and I decided to take that little ball. I said don't lose out and try this without that ball. And without that ball, it kind of acts like it's going to work. I haven't looked at a parts schematic to see if it's supposed to have a little ball in there or not. Some of them are and some of them aren't. But it acts like it'll work now. So I think we'll throw those bolts and springs in here and slip the cover back on and try it out, see how it works. Yep. Does it take a ball? Is that for 2000?
2300 EXC.
We'll put that in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So I got on the old pocket calculator and brought up a schematic of this clutch, and it looks like KTM did not put a ball inside of that throwout bearing. So we might be in good shape now. Click, click, click. Yep, torqued them to spec. Anyway, we got a new clutch cover gasket to go back on here with because we had to take that big thick one out, although it probably would have worked. So if you're working on a Rekluse clutch and it's like a zombie Z-Start. I think that was a Z-Start clutch with all those ball bearings. I guess you just need a pressure plate and to take the ball out, and probably a gasket and these springs and the bolts, and you can go back to stock. Now, if you have a newer bike that's got the new style Rekluse clutch, I believe those use your stock pressure plate, the stock bolts, the stock springs, everything's stock, except you put an element in here that takes the place of 3 or 4 or however many of these clutch plates. So if you got the new style Rekluse clutch, you really just need a clutch kit and you're good to go. If you got an older bike that somebody put one of the older ones in, look in there, and if it looks weird, buy a used clutch. Now, I'll put this cover on and we'll go try this out. Well, I've heard KTM stands for cost too much, and I've heard KTM stands for kick till Monday. Let's see. Well, there you go. That's how to unautomatic your automatic clutch.